So let's go back to Thanksgiving Day 1991. We have 23-year-old Omaima Nelson, right? Now, this nutcase has only been married at this point now for about 3 weeks, right? To a man about 30 years her senior, William Nelson, this guy right here, right? He's 56, she's 23. They met up somewhere, and 2 weeks later, they decided that they were the ones for each other, and they got married. Now, Bill's past is a little bit murky. All I know is that he is a pilot, and he's done time in federal prison for trafficking marijuana, right? So he's done a little bit of time in prison. Maybe he's not a bad guy, but he does have a past. And Omaima, well, she has a past too. This is a very psychologically disturbed woman. Thanksgiving Day, 1991. Now, maybe Bill is feeling a little bit frisky. And Omaima, she's like, yeah, I'm feeling frisky too, husband. So they're at home, and according to Omaima, he's into bondage sex, right? He likes a little bit of bondage mixed with his sex. So she tells him, hey, you want me to tie you up so I can do whatever disgusting things I'm about to do to you? And he says, why not? Sure. So she ties him up. And then in Omaima's whacked out mind, she starts remembering all of the weeks of sexual abuse that supposedly Bill inflicted upon her. And then maybe she starts thinking about other sexual abuses that she has suffered through the hands of different men throughout her 23 years of existence on this planet. And as she's tying him up, now he can't move. Now, Bill's a big guy. He's about 6'4". He weighs about 230 pounds. Omaima, she's not even 5 feet tall. So as he's tied up, she grabs a lamp and throws it at him, or chucks it, or breaks it over his head, or whatever. She all of a sudden realizes, oh, I got a pair of scissors in my hands, and she starts stabbing, and this guy is like flailing to get the hell away, but she's got him tied down pretty good. She's stabbing, and stabbing, and stabbing, well, it keeps going on and on. And she stabs, and then after the blood is everywhere, it's pouring everywhere, and she sees an iron, that you iron your clothes with, and she starts bashing him in his face. Bash. She's so psycho. She has like this psychotic man type strength, and she bashes him with this iron. And she's breathing. She's tired. And she looks at the iron, and it's covered with skin, blood, and hair. She's just killed this guy. Okay, well, all right, so he's dead. Well, now I got to get rid of his body. So she slowly, methodically starts dismembering him. Now, again, 6'4", 230 pounds. She's 5 foot nothing, probably 100 pounds if that. So she just starts dismembering. But she's not, she's psycho. She's a crazy, she's a nutcase. But she's not stupid. Now, she's got to cover up her tracks. So she cuts off his hands, and she says, okay, fingerprints, they're going to be able to identify him. So she gets the pot, pours oil in it, heats it up, and throws the hands in there. And she's going to boil off his fingerprints, right? She cuts off his head, throws it in the freezer for later, right? Because, she has to knock out his teeth so they can identify him through dentals. And over the next 2 days, she's slowly and methodically dismembering this guy. Can you imagine how much blood is in this place? So she's dismembering, and she's trying to run his body, the different body parts, through the garbage disposal, doing all of that, right? Finally, after 2 days, she's exhausted, and now she has like these trash bags full of his body parts, right? And she calls up one of her ex-boyfriends, and she's like, hey, remember me? It's Omaima. He's like, well, yeah, how could I not, how could I forget you? You know, you're insane. And so she says, hey, I kind of killed this, my husband because, he was being abusive to me. And so I need your help so I could ditch these body parts, right? And he said, well, cool. I would love to be an accessory to your murder. So after he hangs up the phone with her, he calls the police and says, supposedly this woman is saying that she killed her husband, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Bill hasn't showed up to work in a few days, right? So the boss at his job, I'm not sure where he's working at, but they're calling his house. He's not answering the phone. They call the police because they're wondering where he's at. And, well, the investigation continues. They find his car parked with his body parts, some body parts, not all the body parts. And they go to this apartment right here at 2117 Eldon. I think that's the name of the street we're on right now. And when they go to his apartment, it smells like death, decay, and it smells like blood. That silvery smell that a lot of detectives say, like, that blood smells kind of silvery. And next thing you know, they get a hold of Omaima and they charge her with his murder. So the murder happened in this apartment complex right here. I don't know the apartment number. It's one of these right here. A pretty nice street where we're on right now. A pretty nice street for a very heinous crime to occur. I'm walking in the apartment complex right now because I'm trying to see if I can get a sense of where this crime was committed, in what apartment. I have no idea. One of these apartments right here. So anyways, after she was arrested and put on trial for his murder, now you got the defense attorney for Omaima Nelson. Now he basically says, okay, Your Honor, she is psychotic, right? Now the prosecuting office, they brought in a court-appointed psychologist that was talked to or interviewed Omaima. And she said during the dismemberment that she made his ribs kind of like how they do at a barbecue restaurant, and she cooked it in barbecue sauce because, I don't know about you, but I like my ribs really tender. I mean, who doesn't? But this is sick. This is disgusting. I mean, this is an obvious psychopath right here. And that's exactly what the psychologist said. They said that she's a psychopath, that she suffers from PTSD. And also, the defense, now they're telling the jury, 4 men and 4 women jury, they're saying, or 6 men and 6 women jury, they're saying, look, yes, she's psychotic. Yes, she's crazy. She grew up in a very, very poor part of Cairo. When she was 3 years old, they forced her to do those genital mutilations that they do to girls when they cut off the parts of their vagina. So when they did this to her, it made sex for her very uncomfortable. And you imagine a wound like that would pretty much make anybody crazy. So, and then also Omaima is saying that, she's like, oh, I suffered, he would sexually assault me so many times and I was defending myself. Okay, well, she was defending herself. Crazy. So, I mean, this is a nice apartment. Kind of waiting for somebody to call the police on me. Got some strange guy just kind of walking around talking about a murder that happened here like well over 30 years ago. So anyways, the trial lasts a few weeks. Now she's being charged with first-degree murder. So the jury deliberates. So they're saying, okay, she comes from a very abused background, and the whole thing with the genital mutilation and all that stuff. Okay, so the jury obviously they feel that they're feeling sympathy for her. So the verdict comes back. So they acquitted her of the first-degree murder, but they charged her and convicted her of second-degree murder. She was also convicted for assaulting and tying up one of her former boyfriends and robbing him at gunpoint. This woman is nuts. Okay, this woman is absolutely nuts. So she was sentenced to 27 years to life in prison. Now, the last time she went up for parole, she was denied. And the courts said that they denied her parole because, well, she hasn't done, girl, you haven't done any of your educational classes or your vocational classes. You haven't done anything, you know. I guess she just sits in her cell all day and thinks about whatever. And during the trial, the psychologist, the court-appointed psychologist, he had told the court that she told him the reason why she dismembered him is because she was scared that in the afterlife that he would come back and seek revenge. So she had to cut up his body parts so he couldn't get her. You know, during the trial, this jury, they're seeing this woman for what she is, very, very mentally disturbed. I don't believe that this woman was in her own right mind. This was not a person that that did this with the right mind. And also, when they were gathering evidence or gathering Bill's body, they didn't get all of his body. No, 130 pounds of Bill was missing. And, well, where did the rest of Bill go? Well, like, remember when I was telling you she was, with the garbage disposal? Well, when they were talking to the surrounding units in whatever apartment this murder occurred at, one of the neighbors was saying, like, yeah, man, for like the last 2 days, like that garbage disposal, it was like it never turned off. It was just constantly for 2 days. It was just on. It was just on. It was just on. So 130 pounds of, or 100 pounds of Bill went into the city sewer system. But it all happened at this apartment. I wish I knew the door. I wish, because I usually like finding the apartment number, but this time I can't. So anyways, so Omaima Nelson, she is currently being held at the Chowchilla Women's Prison here in California. Chowchilla is about, I want to say about 4 hours north of here. I've been to Chowchilla before. It's the largest women's prison in California. It holds roughly about 80 some odd percent of all female inmates in the state. So maybe I will send Omaima a smoke signal and ask her if she wants to do an interview. We'll see what happens. Who knows?